Alright, wanted to do a short video to kind of catch up to where we are now in the van build. About 10 videos in. Doesn't look like a whole lot, but we're making progress. For starters, on the interior, we got rid of the factory stereo and added a 10-inch Alpine Halo. It's pretty nice, got Android Auto and such. And added some Blue Sea USB plugs down here, one for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and another for just charging. Added cruise control, which a guy on the Sprinter Source forum was able to program in just by adding the steering pads, which is amazing. Also got the volume controls and stuff, and then was able to order an adapter from UK that works with the CAN bus, so volume and some of the other buttons for stereo controls work. Added rear view mirror from Amazon. It's just video, and added a different camera in the back at a better angle, so now I've got a backup camera and a constant camera for while you're driving, just like a rear view mirror, since we have no back windows. Insulation and kill mat in 100% coverage in the floor, in the front and both front doors, as well as Thinsulate, 3M Thinsulate 600 in both door panels, and covering the entire area under the roof is 100% coverage of kill mat, as well as the Thinsulate. I've added seat swivels on the passenger and driver's seat, and added an armrest. We'll be adding a second one to the passenger seat eventually, once I get some seat covers sorted out. I think that's all the exciting stuff for up front. Speakers, new speakers and new tweeters in the dash. We'll be adding a shelf up here, and I found a fabric that's a relatively good match, which I can link in the video if anybody wants to match their gray headliner fabric. I've got B-pillars from a guy who bought some of the Amazon aluminum stuff that was pulled out of the back here. We actually traded B-pillars with my hacked up ones, so these are beautiful, and that was great. I've replaced the factory seat belt because it was shredded from overuse as an Amazon van. Relocated the speaker for the microwave or backup system that beeps when you get close to stuff, so it's actually behind the headliner, but you can still hear it. It's tucked out of the way. That was one of the very few Amazon things that I kept. It's pretty useful. So added some ceiling joists here to attach. It's going to be cedar planking because the cedar is less likely to squeak. It's so lightweight. So we'll see how it works. And I've added EMT across because this whole side will be overhead compartments. So I want that to be open. The wiring will be accessible. Everything will be accessible from the back to check for leaks and such. And then any wiring I want to add later, I can run through the EMT down either side B-pillar, and then from there into the under seat area of the driver or passenger seat, since there will eventually be a diesel heater under the seat. And I've added a Blue Sea 6-circuit fuse box under the driver's seat for the 12-volt car side of the system. It's running the stereo and a few other things. The Thinsulate's going in slowly in the ceiling. Best coverage we can. I fished through about a 5-inch wide strip on every one of the ceiling ribs here, which, depending on what you listen to for van builds, may or may not be necessary, but I have plenty of Thinsulate, so doing the best insulation I can. Plus I live in Florida and the van gets well over 100 degrees in the summer. Anybody that knows Sprinters knows that the side trim clips leak water, which is fine when it's a cargo van. They leak into here, and then as long as your drain weep holes in the floor are not plugged, it's not an issue. I'll be pulling off all the trim and sealing those. I'm not sure what I'm using to seal them yet. The jury's out. And I'll be painting the side trim as well as the front bumper with Rhino liner, because, or rather Raptor liner. Seems to get really good reviews for holding up well and looking a lot better than my horribly faded front bumper. Into the flares, I haven't done anything to cover or trim out the flares yet. That'll be later. I'm not even 100% sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but we've got room. You can see the bed frame I had to hurry to get this thing ready for a motorcycle festival that we went to, so it's actually pretty comfortable to sleep in. The bed folds up into a futon, as you've probably seen in the videos. I've got locking 36-inch 500-pound door slides. And there'll be oak landings on the countertop, which is what this cargo strap here is simulating. But the whole thing will fold up and gives me about 30 inches of extra counter space and room, which is big in a 144 wheelbase short van. The bed's not done. I've got lightning holes that knocked off a good bit of the weight, as well as some ventilation for the mattress. Originally this was just going to be pulleys lifting the bed frame up when you unlock it, but depending on the weight of this mattress, it may end up being linear actuators or some sort of a cable hoist system. I haven't decided yet, but it'll be slick when it's done. Maxx fans installed, as you probably saw if you've watched any of the videos. I haven't trimmed any of that out yet either. The floor, I'm going to do sheet vinyl from Lawn Seal. It's expensive stuff. I had planned to source some locally, but their data sheet said to keep the floor from 55 to 85 degrees for the life of the product, which is silly in a van. It's not practical, and I can't take a chance on applying a vinyl sheet flooring and then having it lift or bubble up once I've built the entire van on top of it. So it was about $600 for the Lawn Seal shipped, but it's supposed to be a really good product, and it's an epoxy 2-part glue that holds it down with a short working time, so it'll be entertaining to install, and you'll see in the video. Right now, I've got the entryways made out of poplar. Got a little cubby for flip-flops or shoes or whatever when you're getting in and out of the van, and done some reinforcing underneath the step. I don't know if you have a Sprinter, the step may flex a bit on yours as well. I made an aluminum bracket which distributes the weight of the step a bit, and then painted it all up to match. It's much more solid now. The floor is marine grade ply, 1/2-inch ply. Underneath it, it's a 1/2-inch extruded polystyrene, and then below that, which is not installed yet, will be 1/4-inch mini cell, which will fill up the space underneath the corrugations or ribs in the floor, so there won't be any airspace there. Originally I was going to do oak dowels every 6 inches to make sure that this marine ply is not able to flex when you step on it, because that could cause a visible line in the vinyl sheet flooring. But I've decided now that since this area will all be sink and counter space, as well as that side, so the middle, say 30 inches, I'm actually going to do a joint and glue it. I don't want to take a chance on having a visible line. I'll probably do the same on the second joint. I did stagger the XPS foam joints with the plywood so that it wouldn't be extra flex. But once this is all done, it'll be screwed to the poplar, and then aluminum edging around the steps, and everything will be trimmed out around the seats and such. I was able to trim the B-pillars today actually with a heavy pair of scissors, and got a really nice line with about, once we put the flooring down, it'll be a little less than 1/8 of an inch gap. So the hitch go in one of the first videos. Got a bracket set up for the trailer harness. The electrical will be on the right side. I haven't really decided on a layout yet, but it'll be two 200 amp hour lithium batteries, and water tank, and everything else should be on this side. What you can see underneath the original factory camera is the added lipstick camera that came with the mirror, and I've made a metal plate that closes out the holes that were left from Amazon's poorly installed mirror. And that's about it. It catches up to some of the intentions for the build going forward, and just a little bit of an explanation for things you might have seen in the time-lapse videos.